Hey everybody, welcome to the Ronline Report. Today's guest, one of my favorite guys to talk to in the sport. He's so smart, we call him the Mind, Milos Sarcev, joining us from California. How are you, Milos?
Hi, Ron. Very good. In quarantine, like you probably.
Well,
Uh,
let's see. Your state, you're in California, right?
yes, yes. They issued last night at midnight that yeah, it's an order that you cannot leave, and yeah, it's serious, as you know. It's probably all over the place, but in California it was valid as of midnight last night.
So what happens if you leave your house? Are you shot on sight? Let's hope
Not
not.
sure exactly, but you could be imprisoned. It's going to be a misdemeanor,
Wow.
and last
Mm,
thing I need that in my record.
sure. So did you stock up with a lot of food and things like that?
Not really stuck up. I mean, I'm always fairly stuck up. Obviously, we have so much nutritional supplements, protein, and essential aminos that protein is pretty much covered. Then, of course, I am big on canned chicken from a Costco. If you guys didn't
Ah,
have that, I mean, even back in the 90s when I competed, I used to have a couple of those cans in the
yeah.
preparation period. Now, when I look back in my journals, I was can of chicken rice, can of chicken rice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have plenty of those,
Yeah.
and it'll be covered for a while.
Well, you're allowed to leave to go to a supermarket or Costco if you want. I believe food shopping is still allowed, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
limited. But let me tell you, there was about a week ago that two lights before Costco, even when they turn green, you cannot move because there was
Wow.
like jam packed. Yeah, it was crazy. So
So
I can imagine how in some other countries, but yeah. Um, what can I say? I think people are panicking, overly
mm,
panicking, and it could have been done differently, in my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah.
But hey, when you get the order from a president or from your mayor of LA County,
Mm.
you better listen.
Well, let me ask you this because I just saw you at the Arnold a couple, was it not even 2 weeks ago, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You're looking very large. You're in great shape. So obviously you've been hitting the gym. What are you going to do now? Do you have a gym at home? Do you have weights?
No, I have some dumbbells and barbell, right? And
Oh, okay.
yeah, but let me tell you, even back in the day when I had a Coliseum gym, I had a home gym as well, and I never really trained. It was like demotivating, like you need to be in that gym atmosphere to really lift weights. I don't know, but hey, if you're forced to, it's better something than nothing. I mean, you can get out and train in the park. You can do some, pull-ups, dips, and stuff like that.
Yeah, this is
I
when
don't know.
everyone's checking out those old videos of like jailhouse workouts and all that stuff. Can't
Yeah,
do
I've
that.
seen yours. You know,
Very
yeah.
little, very little preparation went into that, as you could see. I'm gonna try to do a better job on the next one. But did you have clients that were supposed to be in the Arnold Amateur that couldn't make it because of all the flight restrictions and everything?
No, my guys made it, and
Oh,
also even in Australia, amateurs are competing as of like in few hours from now.
oh wow.
So pro show in Australia is canceled, but amateurs are allowed to compete, and I take my hat off to Tony Doherty. Of course, he didn't have a much to gain, but he says all these people working hard, they're gonna, be able to display what they work so hard for. So Arnold Australia Amateur is going on,
Hmm.
probably in a couple of hours from now.
Wow, that's right. I think he's doing it, streaming it for a low price on pay-per-view that people can
Yeah,
check that out. Um,
yeah,
now you prepped. Who did you prep for Arnold Classic Ohio? Max Charles was the only
yeah.
one.
Max Charles. I mean, you and I talked at this meet and greet,
Hmm.
and I point out, and I don't know if you remember the first thing that I said. I just hope to God they're going to give him a chance, because I knew coming into the show, you see the list, and you can already predict the first call out.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
always been like this, especially nowadays that they limit the time. And I understand this. IBB Federation puts a time limit, for this class and that class. But let me tell you, extend it for 15, 20 minutes, and
mm,
you can make another 10 comparisons. And all of us, media, fans, bodybuilders, we go there to watch the comparisons. That's actually beauty of the contest. That's
yeah,
actual competition.
right.
So I've been very loud about this. You can't have a competition with four total comparisons. That was it.
Yeah.
Prejudging at Arnold was four total comparisons.
Seems right.
So
Yeah.
come on, give me a break. And then at the finals, for example, as you know, Max Charles was brilliant. I think he was the best conditioned guy out there. And let's face it, he's not a newcomer that people can, maybe overlook. He was 3 times Mr. Olympia competitor. He made it to the all stage 3 times. So how can you improve bigger than ever, better than ever, most conditioned, be overlooked? And let me tell you, Max has this crazy V-taper, round shoulders, round muscle bellies, crazy arms. You've seen abs that was overshadowing everybody. I mean, there was not even close. So I was very sad to see him being so ignored in the prejudging. But then at the finals, my God, he was put in a third call out. And if you remember, they had 5 guys, and then they have only 4 guys for a second comparison, and then 6 guys for the third comparison. Yeah. So he could have easily be in a second comparison where he belonged, but no, they only compared 4 and then put the 6 in the last comparison. So basically, they didn't want to let him be seen in this group next to those guys because he would kill them. Yeah. I'm serious.
Condition-wise, and I'm not just saying this because
I have no problem expressing my opinion, but that's been going on for years. I can tell you this: when a guy is too dangerous, to beat somebody, they just don't put them together. And this has been for years. And I can tell you, back in the 90s, I was in. I can tell you my own experiences. 1994, I'm in Germany and. Banquet after the shows, this older gentleman, Eric Janner, I didn't know he was Olympia judge. He would come to me and say, "Excuse me, I really want to apologize." And say, like, "What for?" "I was Olympia, judge." So okay, I don't mind. I placed like 14th. I said, "No, but I want to tell you, Milos, Wayne DeMille at the time was going with a microphone from each judge, and who do you want to be compared?" And they would call 3 guys. So Eric Hanner asked for Paul Gillette, who placed 4th, Porter Coachella, who placed 5th, and me. And Wayne DeMille just told him, "No, you can't make that comparison. Next." So needless to say, a week later, in all the European shows in Italy, Germany, Spain, I beat Porter Coachella, who was 5th at Olympia. But I wasn't given a chance to stand next to him. So many times you're going to say it's political, it's not political. There is always to it, but when it's something so crystal clear, I mean, I didn't ask you for your opinion, but I don't even have to ask. I'm convinced that anybody that is informed about bodybuilding, that follows this sport like you did for 20 years, and you see Max Charles at his best, you would at least want to see him being compared. Right. And when he is completely ignored, that is slap in the face, and it's like, what is going on here? Yeah.
I thought he definitely deserved to get compared to at least guys like Sergio and Kuklo, because I had him somewhere around there. And that, I thought Max could have been like 5th, 6th, 7th, somewhere in there. Where did he end up? Like 10th?
8th. But okay. Just as you said, Kuklo and Sergio, 4th and 5th. Okay, so he could have been compared, and let's compare them and let the best man win. But he was not given a chance, which, this is constant. And I don't want to step on anybody's foot because I've been always, opinionated and say, "Milos, shut up, don't steer anything." No, I mean, look, if I'm a judge, it's a very hard job to do. And yes, if I'm given 15 minutes, okay, in 15 minutes I have to conclude the judging, then I'm going to rush it and maybe overlook. Right. But then there is, after prejudging, and you hear the feedback and say, like, hold on a second, this guy looked phenomenal, okay? And then he goes, for a posing routine, so you can see him, one more time. And then after all that, you still decide to put him in also competing in a last call out. This is just not right.
I got to ask you one. I probably have asked you this before, but that confirmation round they do now during the finals? What's the point of that? Why do they do that?
Well, confirmation round, actually, it's another round that can be scored, and then somebody can move up. So prejudging, you look certain way. At the confirmation round, like Rami looked better at the final show, right? He could have moved up. But Dexter looked also better. So confirmation round, I'm all for it. But
Okay.
let's discuss just this for a second. Back in '90s when I competed,
Yeah.
there was symmetry round. Why? Why was symmetry round there? To look for aesthetics, beautiful shape, right?
Yeah.
To award people with aesthetics. That now IBB is crying for it since Arnold 2017 when I think Cedric McMillan won and said he wants to bring back the beauty. Let's look at for the shape and aesthetics.
Yeah.
That was symmetry round. In a symmetry round, you can present your aesthetics, proportions, balance, so and conditioning.
Right.
My first show in '91, San Jose, nobody even knew how to pronounce my name, right? I was not politically correct, and I was there with anybody. I won symmetry round
Yeah.
against guys like Sonny Schmidt, Ron Love, John Brown, Franco Santriello, all these guys. So, oh my God, I won symmetry round because they appreciate my aesthetics and symmetry. So why did you take this out in judging? And then you took out posing round as well. This is that part of entertainment, right?
Yeah.
That yeah, if people know I'm being judged, I'm gonna damn sure hit my best poses. I'm gonna make some routine. I'm gonna present myself to the best of my abilities. So maybe mandatory poses that I look so. I can now do my signature poses and just overwhelm the audience and judges and say, hold on a second. There's many characteristic poses that are not mandatory, like twisting back shots and some other that I think people can attract the attention.
Yeah, you used to, but the Arnold supposedly scores. The Arnold shows are the only ones that do score the posing routine. Do they
Yeah,
still do? They still do that, right?
I think they did. Yes, I think they did, and I completely salute that.
Yeah.
Uh, why not all the other shows? I mean, hold on a second. I'm going to do my free posing routine
Yeah.
for what? Judges are not looking. Okay, who
Right.
cares? I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to even look. Why? Yeah, it's for the audience. But hold on a second. Audience are coming there to see what? Competition, comparisons.
Yeah.
Give them extra 20 minutes and compare them 10 more times. I just, as you know, I'm very active on Instagram, and then I go through some old videos, prejudging, and I was, putting on my page symmetry round. It takes 40 seconds at the most,
Mm.
to complete one symmetry round.
Yeah.
Front, quarter turn to the side, quarter turn to the back, other side face front. It's less than a minute. Okay, you have a 10 compressions in 10 minutes. People would appreciate it.
Well, tell me this. Explain this to me. When the guys come out now at the pro shows, they come out in groups of like 5, 6, whatever,
Yeah.
and they quarter turn. They put them through quarter turns, but then they also have them hit like 2 or 3 poses, which I
Yeah.
don't understand. Why are they throwing the poses in there?
So they fused both rounds in symmetry and muscularity. So while you already, quarter turn to the right, okay, I'll do the side chest or
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, I understand due to the expansion of all this other classic physique and 212 and men's physique and everything else, like they're not having enough time. But
Mm.
it's just like right now, you're going to say to the NFL, okay, let's just have 2 quarters.
Yeah.
We don't need to do the next. Oh yeah, not 9 innings in the baseball. Let's just have 3. It's enough. So if you can't show it in 3, you're not going to show it in 9. In the
Yeah.
boxing, after third round, oh, Tyson Fury, sorry, you had a chance in 3 rounds. Now the show is over. I mean, for the love of God, it's a bodybuilding, and all these fans. You tell me, which true fan would not want to see, everybody being compared? And I tell you this in 2006, and this is a fact, due to also my complaints and Sean Ray, who was also vocal. Jim Mannion actually issued on a paper, you could read it, that from 2007, top 10 are going to be crisscrossed. So top 10 finishers are going to be crisscrossed, which would be beautiful. Okay.
Mm.
So if you're first, okay, prove that you're better than that 10th guy or a 9th and an 8th. And let me tell you, like back in the 90s, as you were active even then, let's look at 97 Miss Olympia. There was 13 guys.
Yeah.
Ronnie Coleman was 9th.
Right.
I was 10th. And last 3, Mike Matarazzo, Charles Claremont and Mike Francois, phenomenal guys. Okay, but somebody has to finish first, somebody has to finish last.
Right.
But we would have no problem being last if I'm being compared. But if you're not, this is like slap in the face disrespect.
I mean, you could also argue saying, well, if you're the guy who's, let's say Matarazzo, I don't know if he was last, but let's say he was last at that Olympia. The judges could say, well, he just wasn't even in the same league as Dorian and Nasser. So why are we going to compare? Why are we going to waste our time putting Mike Matarazzo next to Dorian and Nasser?
I understand that if it's really different league and it's Dorian and Nasser, but let's talk about this, okay? And I have to say, to make it clear, there's nothing for me but respect for Dorian because he won 6 Mr. Olympias in the hardest era in the 90s. So it's not just that he won 6 Olympias, he won that everybody says golden era. Okay, so yeah, he dominated. But let's analyze it. Flex Wheeler, Kevin Levrone, Dorian Yates. Who has better physique, really? Who has the better aesthetics and shape? Huh?
Flex and Kevin, all day long.
Okay, and let's ask a million more people to see. Aesthetics and shape, there is no question that these 2 guys beat him, right? Yeah. But for whatever reason, that's and this is I always had to respect Sean Ray. People all pissed off at him. He always tells it like it is, and he was talking about judging at the press conference before the show, so they could, judges could take it against him, and he was always straightforward in saying that if you always have the same judges and they always like whatever chocolate flavor, you're gonna have a chocolate winner.
That's right.
No strawberry and vanilla is gonna ever be considered. Yeah. But really, this is what I'm saying. When you say Nasser and Dorian, should they be compared with Mike Matarazzo? Yeah, why not? And if they're better, there's one comparison that is enough. I mean,
well, let me say, when there was just bodybuilding, and back then that's all we had was bodybuilding. Yeah. You were at the Mr. Olympia. You were there just to watch the men's Mr. Olympia. There was nothing. There was nothing else being judged. Yeah. You only had 13 guys. So yeah, I could see. It's not like you're in a rush. It's like shit. We got to get to men's physique. We got to get to women's fitness. They had time, so I could see in that situation it makes sense. But now we have like it's not, wellness will make 9 pro divisions. So most of these shows are going to have 9 divisions being judged. Yikes.
No problem, but okay, all these divisions, every other class in IBB is there because of bodybuilders. Yeah. So please respect, just like there is 4 quarters in a football game, have a proper prejudging, judge them fairly, and then entertainment in the night, they're going to have to do the posing routine anyway. Maybe judges, you are qualified, you should look and maybe judge that round as well, and then you're gonna have that old 90s scoring and probably a little bit better placings. So just to finish this about again, I'm not picking Dorian. Really, what he has accomplished, it's mind-boggling. Yeah. But I talked to some guys and big fans. Okay, mass monster. Dorian had a huge back, the best back in the history of bodybuilding, for sure, and great calves. Yeah. Nothing else that would be considered even top 10 in arms. Yeah.
They were good. They were good. They weren't great. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
They were not great. And you have at least 10 guys you can say with the great arms.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And the shoulders, and quads, and abs. I mean, please, so like when you consider this, so how do you really judge? Okay, this is one thing. Before there was 3 guys being compared. Now it's 6 guys. Okay, I'm there, and I was doing for muscular development back in 2017. There was a Torino show, and I had to quickly describe what is going on. There's 6 guys on the stage. Like how can you compare, right?
Right.
And so I understand completely. Judging is super hard, and I said this a million times. Yes, I do believe that Steve Weinberger is by far the biggest expert. He can glance on some physique and know it. But especially, for a guy like this, then when you see season Olympiad competitor that is 3 times on the Olympia stage coming at his all-time best, and you ignore him, this is question like, what happened? So I'm not saying anything that is politically purpose, but you can be easily overlooked with this limited comparisons. If you have multiple comparisons, hold on a second. And I'll tell you that another example, 2004, I was preparing Gustavo Badell, who wasn't even top 10 prospect.
Right.
And I told him, just stay in line, stay tight, you're going to eventually get your chance. So 12 guys were called out before him. So he was 13 guy called out. So under today's rules, he wouldn't make a top 10, right?
Yeah.
But, then they realized, oh, shit, he's good. They move him top 10, top 8, top 6. He finished third.
Third, yeah. He was third 2 years in a row, wasn't he?
Yeah, 2 years in a row. And it's completely, outsider, dark horse, nobody even consider him being a dark horse, like also competing.
Right.
But he showed the quality and they gave him a chance. And I'm telling you, for so many guys, if they're given a chance, we would have a completely different scores. So I'm just urging, okay, maybe Jim Mannion's going to, hear it. Give extra 20 minutes mandatory for a prejudging. You don't have to crisscross 10 guys. That was a great idea. I loved it. I would love to see that. But at least give it 20 more minutes, and we were going to have a show that all the audience is going to appreciate. Now, I mean, right now I'm posting some pictures from some old shows, and it's Milos. You place third. Why I compare with the 10th and 11th? Yeah. I said, why not? If I'm better, I have to prove it. I have no problem, right? Yeah. So that's all I've been saying, and they used to have that.
Yeah, because I don't know if I wasn't at the '98 Olympia in New York. You were there. You were in it, were you?
Yeah, I was 11.
Ronnie Coleman claims he wasn't even in the first call out. Is that true?
He not first call out. Let me tell you, he was I think in the fourth call out. He was like,
wow.
Oh yeah, Ronnie was not the top 6 prospect at all.
Right.
But as he's going to tell you, because I was in a locker room with him before prejudging, and he looked okay. By the time we finished prejudging, and the same Ronnie Coleman was in front of me, he was morphed. Wow. There was that zero subcutaneous water on him. I was trying to grab his hamstring like this. I was like trying to touch the water. Like, oh my God. So he was improving as he was posing. And next thing you know, just like Gustavo from 13th went into top 3, Ronnie also from out of top 6, moved into, deserving first place.
Could that happen today where a guy's fourth call out and he ends up winning the Olympia?
You tell me.
I don't know.
Would you like to see that or not?
If that guy had the best physique, sure, I'd love to see. I always want the best man to win. Always.
Yeah. And like people are gonna say, she always complain. I don't complain. I'm gonna quote Ronnie Coleman. I didn't complain when 1992 when I didn't get the dime. I didn't complain 93 and all the way, right? No, I don't complain, for my guys. I would say for anybody. It's not. I used to compete. I competed 110 times in my life, 72 times on the pro IBB pro stage, right? I know what it takes to get there, okay? Just please respect me enough to give me comparison. Place me dead last. I don't care. But give me comparison. So if everybody sees what we saw in Columbus, Max was outstanding. And
the two best conditioned guys in that lineup, as far as I was concerned, I was right there front and center were Max and the guy from France, Morgan Ast. Doesn't have a pretty shape or anything, but that guy was peeled and dry.
Especially from the back. He was dry as a bone and striated glutes and everything. For sure. But so what are we looking in Olympia, for example, for judging? I didn't talk to you like for classic physique. Like Steve Loris, I think he had a phenomenal physique, but condition was not there. And they placed him third. Okay, I respect that. I support this, and 2018, Sean Roden beat Phil Heath, phenomenal Phil Heath, who was conditioned, is just not super conditioned as usually. And okay, they went with Sean on the conditioning. I agree. Conditioning should be top notch. Okay, you have to have a aesthetics and shape and balance, that stuff. But if conditioning is not there, you should be penalized. And damn sure next year when you come into the show, if you're penalized, you're going to bring it. But nobody's being penalized really. So that's why year after year we have like, oh, I wish, you know, how many people are in shape at Olympia last year? You tell me.
Like 2, not
Yeah.
many. I can't remember anyone that was like really impressing me. Like Patrick Moore was in shape.
Yeah.
Lucas Osladil was in shape.
And how do you chip them?
And Hadi. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
remember anyone else being really dialed in.
That's
On,
Mr. Olympia, right? That's a show that everybody's aiming for, the pinnacle of the sport. And you step on the stage less than 100%, like, what the hell? And this has been going on for how many years? I mentioned 97, Olympia. You mentioned 98, same thing in New York. 99, my last Olympia.
yeah.
Jay Cutler was 15th out of 16 guys.
Wow.
Look at his condition. He was peeled dry, same Jay Cutler physique, okay? Maybe, a couple of pounds less.
Right.
But if judges really, explain, okay, but they maybe notice him, so next year they're going to maybe award him. But it shouldn't be that way. The show is judged that day on the stage. Whatever you present, what you bring, you should be awarded or penalized.
You probably already answered. You probably talked about this at the Arnold during your wrap ups or something. But I want to get your take because I didn't listen to it. I'm sorry. Big Ramy was he was a heavy favorite going into that show. He had a new coach for the first time ever because he had been with the Camel Crew guys since day one. So Chad Nichols took him on. Condition was good. I've seen him a little sharper than that. But what is this? Do you see Ramy ever getting the type of deep lines, clear cuts, separations, detail? Do you see that ever happening for him?
I do. I really do. And I've been repeating myself for so many years already. And looking at William Boniak, Dexter, just in the lineup when they're relaxed, and Ramy, he looks like two of them combined. He was like so much bigger. I mean, you can really appreciate more when you look at them relaxed on the side. Like, oh my God, this is twice the man.
Yeah.
Much wider. I mean, legs, two of their legs would not be equal to his one, right? So everybody knows you have so much mass going on. Come depleted, like on the verge of that Holocaust, excuse my language, diet, starved, and showed up on the stage, you're going to be sliced and diced and dry. I mean, okay, I'm exaggerating. I don't want to, say that, to be just, so sarcastic. But yeah, he could have bring it again. And let's what to say about Chad. Chad produced like so many Mr. Olympias. He worked with the top guys. Back in the 90s with Ronnie and Flex and Nasser and Chris Cormier. I mean, of course, he has a proven track record.
Yeah.
Okay, this was going into the show, so they're trying something for the first time, and maybe you're still okay. Let's fill him up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not, but his physique doesn't have to be filled up. I guarantee you, if he's on low carbs going into the show day in, day out, and you pick him up at the gym at any point, he would look better. Yeah. For me, he is that kind of guy. I know that like 94 Olympia, Dorian was off big time at Olympia. So coming into the Spain and Germany a week later, he depleted into the show and he looked phenomenal.
Huh.
So especially when you have a muscle mass like this, okay, you deplete your glycogen a little bit. If you're on a pure protein diet, pure protein usually works as a diuretic anyway. So you don't really, need to take any maybe pharmaceutical diuretics that can flatten you out and then, you look empty as a bag. But a guy like Ramy, I think he should have go into the show depleted, lose 10, 15 pounds. I've been saying this since first time he was on the stage.
Yeah. What's the best, in your eyes, what's the best he's ever looked? What show?
I mean, initially when Dennis James preparing for that in New York, he looked fantastic. That was my first really introduction to Big Ramy. Then I think Chris Aceto worked with him for one show also. But you see, this is all fair conditioning, not superb conditioning.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I tell you this, of course, I'm sure everybody in the industry, oh, like Milos fucked up so many guys, right?
Yeah.
When you go, yeah, I'm serious. I'm sure that this is going on, but when you're preparing somebody, right, and you're going for a safe, okay, then you can produce what I did with the Max Charles. I say, okay, we're going to play safe. We're just going to do certain things. But when you're trying to get attention, like Dennis Wolf in 2007, going into the show, he was not really a top 6 contender. I said, we need to bring something. So you push the envelope, push the envelope. Gustavo Bedell, same thing, 2004. Unknown, how are you going to get attention, so you push to the limits. And I've been guilty of this. I've been doing it myself, every show that I competed, I tried to push it to the limits. And sometimes, of course, it doesn't go that way. But certain competitors, right, you're better off playing it safe. And certain competitors, okay, if he looks like every day in the gym, he's not going to attract attention. Let's super compensate him, blow him up, and all of a sudden, whoa, where is this coming from? And I mentioned this a couple of times before. Joe Wheeler really opened my eyes to that. I don't know if you ever heard this story, but 94 at that Olympiad, I told you, 94 Olympia, I think that was my best condition as far as dryness. I mean, I was dry as a desert, every fiber, cross striations, anywhere you move, like thing is happening. But then I went to European tour. Like I said, I beat Porter Cucciali in all these shows. Then 2 weeks later, I go to Joe Wheeler photo shoot. Of course, you're not in a contest shape, of course, for me,
Right.
But immediately when Joe told me, Milos, why didn't you look like that at the Olympia? You would place top 6. And I'm saying, like, come on, man. Like this, Joe is Joe, but he's getting old, it's like probably. But then I seen a Polaroid, right? And hold on a second. Polaroid and then a picture from the contest. And here, a month later, I'm not in the condition that I was bone dry, but that fullness, created the illusion, more size, more aesthetic. I said, this physique would beat that physique any day in my book. Wow. So that's how, when I would prepare some guys, what is best off? Dennis Wolf had this huge shoulders frame, right? If you come flat, you're not going to attract the attention. But he was so full that he made Ronnie Coleman look small, if you remember back in 2007, right?
Yeah.
So these are kind of things. Anyway. But for Rami, great guy. Some people like count him out. Like even you ask, can he ever?
Yeah.
He can. I mean, he has 20 years in him, probably training.
He's only been training, I think, since like 2010, if that. If that's the truth. Supposedly, when he turned pro in 2012, he'd only been training for like 2 years. I don't know if that's true.
You know what? 1991, I was at the Hong Kong tour with Ronnie Coleman, Flex Wheeler, and all that. I remember Ronnie, reading, 2-3 months before that tour, like, oh yeah, he's been training only for a year.
Oh.
Yeah. And then I look at him, he was doing like one arm triceps overhead extension with like 80 pounds, and arm was looking like bigger than my leg. I said, come on, Ronnie, you're training just this long? Oh yeah, I've been training all my life, but he did the powerlifting before, and this doesn't count, right?
Right.
I mean, there's no way that Big Ramy would train just like a couple of years and then look like that. I mean, I don't see it happening.
Well, but I think that's part of the legend, the myth of Oxygen Gym, is that they can take anybody and make them double in size fast. They have all the secrets that we don't have.
They have a secret, my ass. I said this openly, like, what secrets can you possibly have? There are no secrets.
Time travel. They go into the future.
Time travel. Yeah, as you know, I mean, Dennis James went to Kuwait, back in, I don't know, early 2000s, all that stuff. So I'm sure that he shared a lot of knowledge. There's nothing they have that we don't have. You know, it's as if you want to believe in an anabolic chicken or you know, whatever, you can. There's nothing to it.
Okay. I'm curious with, we had a lot of amateur and pro shows canceled and postponed. Were you working with athletes that were in prep that had to cut
Uh,
their prep short?
so many, and they're so devastated. I mean, really, I feel for them. Now imagine 2 weeks out of the show, uh, show is canceled indefinitely, and you put all the money, all the effort, you know. Uh, I would be devastated. Not just that, but they don't have a clear answer when they can actually step on stage. So now maybe they're going to prolong for another, what, 4, 6, 8 weeks, but maybe May shows are going to be canceled as well.
That's what I'm saying.
So what do you do? And especially now in this lockdown situation.
Well, they're asking you, Milo, my coach, Milos, what do I do? What are you telling these people to do?
I mean, just stay focused. Of course, you know, if you cannot go to the gym, right? I would much rather you stay lean. So you cut the calories, you know, do some cardio, you know, get that part ahead. I was competing many times in the 90s on a 4-week notice. In actually, you know, 99, I did on a couple of week notice. I just decided, okay, yeah, I'm in good enough shape. I can pull it off. I wasn't super shred or anything, but okay. So now the problem is if they're all on the anabolic cycles, you know, what do you do with this now prolonged for 8, 10 weeks, or you get them off and you don't know when they're going to, you know, start them up. So this is the problem. Diet wise, you know, my suggestion to everybody is use this opportunity to get lean. You can do all the cardio you want. You know, get outside and walk. They're not going to stop you for that. Yeah. You know, but if you go to the gym and you get arrested, there's going to be a problem.
Because yeah, I mean, I feel bad. I was helping a local guy here, and you know, I'm not supposed to we don't give medical advice, but I told this guy, cut it back to a TRT dose, add in another carb meal, take 10 minutes off your daily cardio. Because he says, well, we can do this show. I said, don't count on it. We don't know if that show is going to happen on May so-and-so. I hope so, but don't count on anything right now because we don't know. This could go on, God forbid, who knows how long. But yeah, man, because if you're on, you know, pre-contest cycles are the most involved. They're the most expensive. So these people put a lot of money and they're on. I feel terrible because I've never been in that situation in my life. I didn't compete as much as you, but you know, you didn't have too many shows canceled that you were preparing for, right?
No. I mean, there was, you know, 1 or 2 canceled, and then I was not allowed to compete in the 2000 Olympia. So, you know, that was it. Then I'm bummed about it. But imagine really, and I have guys from Middle East, you know, Canada, Europe, Australia, show is canceled. What do you really say? But, you know, Max Charles, I mean, really. We were aiming to surpass this condition in St. Louis show and then go to Brazil as well. Now it's like, you know, on hold. So
yeah, in Brazil, he would have got a great look because I don't think there's ever more than 10 guys in that show typically.
You know, you never know because sometimes people show Rafael Brandao looked crazy. I mean, he looked phenomenal. Dexter would be there. You know, so, you know, I respect everybody nowadays. And this is also what I want to bring up. You have these seasoned veterans that somehow, for some reason, put in upper echelon. Like, okay, they're untouchable and you have to earn to be compared with them.
Yes.
If I earn, and am I going to get the comparison? Like, okay, Dexter Jackson. I love the man. He's, for me, most inspirational bodybuilder ever. He was on that stage, possibly could even win the contest. So, you know, I gave to William Boniak, that's for sure. But he was saying, could Max Schuss be compared to Dexter? Hell yes. And if he was compared, let's see pose by pose. I'm not saying, you know, Max would beat you know, Dexter or anything, but he earned the chance to stand next to him. Why don't you look at him? You know, because you know, look at body parts.
Yeah, there does seem to be that sense that there's a certain very small group of guys who are considered the A-list, and nobody else is allowed to be compared to them. They can only be compared to each other. I don't think it's like I don't think the judges got a secret meeting together and decided, listen, guys. Here's what we're going to
Yeah.
do.
I mean, let me tell you, put me as a judge of Arnold Classic and tell me I have a 15 minutes. I probably wouldn't do as good job as they did, because it's a panic. Like, okay, now first call out. Okay, so who do I call? And then I have a 6 people. Okay, I'm gonna look at these 2 guys in the middle, but hold on a second. This guy on on the side in this pose is blowing him, completely off the stage. So what do I do now? Oh, let's ignore this pose. Turn around. I mean, really.
Yeah,
There's no reason.
one other
I
thing
think
that people that I think hurt the Arnold judging was that the amateur judging went too long. We were supposed to start the judging for pros with wheelchair at 12. They didn't get on stage till like almost 1:30, I don't think. It was past 1. I know that.
yeah,
So
yeah,
already up
I
against the
understand
clock.
all that stuff, but again, it's not like I don't respect the amateurs. Yeah, they should, be properly judged and all that stuff. But a pro show, let's talk about this. When we talk about Arnold Classic Ohio, what do we talk about? We talk about bodybuilding.
Yep.
We talk about, this is like a main event, right?
Yeah.
So that's why in UFC all the fights are 3 rounds and main event is 5 rounds.
Right.
Okay, so give main event more time, for the love of God.
Yeah.
Seriously. And also, if you give me right now 6 guys to judge, I would not feel confident to put the placing and sign my name, because there's no way I can catch all 6. That's why in the 90s you had 3 guys, and sometimes they only have 2 guys. Okay, it's the first, second. This is what I think it should be. Because tell me the person, human being, they can scan 6 guys at the same time.
It's hard.
There's no way.
They would have to hold the poses for like a full minute.
There is
Frontal
no
bicep.
way.
You have to sit
Exactly.
there and look at.
So these are kind of things that I just want to, raise the awareness, in my opinion. And look, of course, a lot of people are going to judge me and say, like, Milos is, troublemaker. I'm not a troublemaker. I'm just speaking up for the athletes. Tell me one athlete that wouldn't want to have more comparisons. Which one? Those A-list guys. Okay, don't compare me with the B-list, because what if I lose? Yeah, these are the only people that would want to stay protected. But this is IBB pro level, Olympia and Arnold Classic, 2 of the major shows, best of the best. Let everybody be compared.
Yeah,
and you can either be qualified for Olympia or specially invited, for Arnold Classic. So they earn the right to be compared.
It's not only that, but most people who go to these things, and especially if they're traveling great distances and they're buying VIP tickets, they're going to see the open bodybuilding. Most people aren't coming to see women's bikini or men's physique. Those are nothing against those divisions, but most of the fans who are traveling many, many thousands of miles and spending a lot of money, they're coming to see the Mr. Olympia Open, the Arnold Classic Open bodybuilding. So yeah, give those guys the time, because that's what these people paid to see. That's why they went to Las Vegas or Columbus. This is who they came to see.
Yeah.
So the lions and the tigers and the elephants.
Yeah,
not the chipmunks and the squirrels. Little bunny rabbits. Anyway, well, Milos, as always enlightening to talk to you. I could talk to you all damn day. We should have a show someday. But man,
you can call anytime.
Okay, I'll take you up on that one.
Bodybuilding subject.
So politics, science, medicine, we'll stay away from. Yeah.
I mean, science and medicine is okay,
well,
not this kind of medicine. Coronavirus, I have no clue about, nothing. I don't want to open my mouth and say a wrong thing, because I would be probably misinforming people, with the lack of knowledge.
Just to remind people, your mother, father, and sister are all doctors, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, what a family.
Yes.
You're a bodybuilder.
I'm a black sheep of the family. I'm a bodybuilder.
I mean, you're more famous than all of them, I'll tell you that. People around the world, everybody knows Milos, but I don't think they know your dad or your mom or your sister. Anyway, yeah, thank you so much, Milos. Appreciate this. Great talking to you guys. Thanks for watching the Ronline Report with this man, Milos the Mind Sarcev. We'll see you next time.
All right.